What's going on, my friend Michael? As promised, I know I look a little bit like sick and I have blood on my nose, but it is what it is. So, um, have I don't want to call them health issues, but yeah, like not at the current moment. But I don't know if you see my stories or anything, but there's been a brigade of different health things. So this is the first reading I've done in a week or longer. Yeah, the full moon. No, this is the first reading I've done in a really long time. Because last week I had to study for my, let me turn the timer on too. Last week I basically did no readings because I had to memorize 1,600 questions of absolutely impossible. Well, it wasn't impossible because I did it, but only 30% of Romanians pass, and it's even harder in English for the driving exam, which I needed to have. I need to have everything done. It's not. I still have the driving part left, but I spent my entire week. I canceled every session, so I did no readings. Did I do any this past weekend? And then this weekend was like the crazy full moon, which really affected me. I was very drained. So, I probably wouldn't even be doing this reading right now, although I do feel good. I'll start doing a reading, kind of have some like combo like this, and I can kind of tap into my own energy and feel if I'm going to be able to deliver it 100%, or as close as possible to that, or if not, I just end it. But I did have in my calendar that I was going to deliver to you between the 12th and the 14th. So it's the 14th. So I'm gonna actually send you a message right now, just to kind of. I don't even know if you saw the message yesterday. I've been kind of off Instagram. Okay, you saw it. Okay, just started the recording. We'll send. Yeah. Okay, so you did see what I said. Okay. So let's close out the phone. Turn the sound off. Okay, very good. So okay, where are my crystals? Magic crystals. When I charge. Let's go with this. Let's go with these three. Four. Technically four, but it's really three. And actually, let's have my obsidian for grounding. Okay, a lot of times I will not show my face for a large part of these readings. I share the screen. Actually, shit, did I change your delete your last name? I did not. Ooh, good catch, Jesse. Good catch. So okay, there we go. So now we can full screen this. I just have to add the aspect grid. And yeah, I'll go back and forth. As you see, the lights are kind of dim. I like to keep this kind of atmosphere. Sometimes I have them all red, but it's a little bit demonic. um, so yeah, like, and the reason I do this is I like to feel very free when I do my readings. I like to meditate sometimes. I like to sometimes walk around my apartment. 'Cause I think better when I move, like when I go on hikes especially. But I don't like to just like always be on camera, especially with the amount of readings I do. And the goal of this reading, because we do have our follow up, which you'll be seeing my face the whole time. Actually, about that follow up, and I'll just say this now, and you can just tell me if that's something you'd be interested in. Most people, I'd say nearly everyone, lately, I started doing it about maybe a month ago. Has been doing so. I had this idea after you purchased. Instead of just the follow up, they've added the current. I'll put my face back on for this. They add the current astrology reading, right? So instead of having just like a 1 hour just live talk, which is totally cool too and totally awesome, it becomes, the follow-up, which is the first hour of our live convo, followed by the current astrology reading, which is usually between 90 and 120 minutes. The other day I went it was like closer to 3 hours and 20 minutes combined. I just I also had some little breaks and talking about non-astrology stuff, so that's why it took a little bit longer. But yeah, I give a discounted price for that one. So usually it's $250, and you just have to let me know. I will give you a $50 reduction on that one. So if you feel called to, after, and decide after you get this reading, if you want to know about, like, this is the book of your life, you get this done. I know you've had many readings done, but you get this done once. And I also want to, you get this done once. Or different astrologers can do it, different types of readings. The current astrology, you want to get done once a year, just understand like how the current energies are affecting you. I also wanted to say, because I'm just feeling the energy, I just want to say that if you would have messaged me like a year ago, or not, like 2 years ago, I think we would have conversated a lot more. And I don't know if if this is just me being a Pisces or whatever, but I do feel I feel a little bit like you think like I don't like value your intelligence or value like who you are, and all the knowledge and wisdom that you have. And this is a struggle that I constantly go through. Like, the stuff you sent me was extremely interesting. I shared it with like a ton of people, and I know that you're a very, very interesting person. I really look forward to connecting with you in person. It's been something, as I've grown, that's been really, really hard, especially as I go through like physical, like I've had like, I'm not gonna get into it, but I've had a lot of physical issues in the last month. Like I lost my voice. I went not blind, but pretty much blind in one eye. I'm having this really, really bad back issue, like that I think is an organ, and it's just like it's hell in the morning, or the first 2 hours of my existence, and every day I wake up. And there's like more, like food poisoning, and it's just like nonstop. So it's really, really hard for me to go into those like really deep conversations, because I know with you we could go back and forth forever. So I hope that you don't take it personally that I haven't been able to like really like contact you back. Like, there's literally like very, very few people that I have that I'm able to do that with these days, because I've had this massive explosion of clients since June, and I'm just trying to figure out how to get that right. So I hope there's no, and also with everything that happened, I'm the kind of guy I don't even like, if you like I don't even remember it, like, to be honest. Like, I don't remember. I just remember there's a little misunderstanding, and like you see, like it's just like, it's like I'm Sag Moon. Like, I don't hold on to stuff, like none of that like is even like in this realm of existence. Like, it's nothing. I think you're a great guy. So I just want to kind of put that out there. I just feeling into the energy of you and your chart. I wanted to say that, just to speak my honest truth as it relates to you. Okay, now that I've put that out there, let's dive into what we're here for, right? So I know you've had many readings done before, and I still like to kind of give the download in the way that I see it. And then, of course, I'm not gonna maybe go as in depth. Let's say you have like well, let's not say it. You have your moon in Capricorn, but like, my take, because I'm completely self-taught, right, when it comes to astrology. I might have a different take on something you've heard from lots of other astrologers who maybe were taught by teachers or something like that. So I do want to kind of still give you my take on everything, right? And as I said before, like, when I'm off mic, like, literally, like, it's for the betterment of the reading, and I'll pop back on, and that's, especially if you have a follow-up, like I said, we're gonna be connected and whatnot. So there's no worry there. Okay. So very interesting, to have a moon in Capricorn. I had a whole article about this a while ago. The difficulty for males with, this Capricorn moon, and it's in the 12th house. It does have that nice, that very, very nice conjunction of Jupiter, um, which is really, really beneficial to you, especially as it kind of like, goes towards your just your ability, because like what can happen is that people who have Capricorn moons, right? And we'll start here. Um, they can have this tendency to, like, it's very, very karmic when you have a Capricorn moon, and there's this tendency to have these, like, what I always call crystallized emotional patterns from past lives. And we'll see how the rest of the chart supports that. Um, but in, South Node Aries conjunct Saturn, there you go. You're very, very powerful, like in the hierarchy of whatever society you're dealing with. Karmically, you were someone of extreme importance, and being that it's Aries at the South Node, right? The South Node is obviously the kind of the passive tendency. Um, in Aries, which is like the leader, the pioneer, and you have Saturn there, which is like the authoritarian. It makes me think that that's, in the third house. You rule. You were a ruler. You were someone who ruled over people, right? Um, so what happens when you have that tendency is the potential for being a little bit more, what's the word, a little bit rigid, right? Because, like, imagine, like, if you were like, let's say, like, what's a good example of someone? I was gonna say Trump, but then I was like, it's a horrible example. I don't know, just someone that everyone, like a famous person in today's society that everyone looks up, like has like a million yes men, right? In that situation, regardless of your level of intelligence or awareness, because remember, it's not about intelligence. Well, actually, it's about awareness, right? If no one's ever challenging your beliefs, then there's a high chance that you're not going to really shift on them, really. So, I believe that having a 12th house Capricorn moon, with Neptune and Jupiter in that same house, is very interesting, because I think that it exposes you to a lot of different things. Now, the first one I was talking about was the whole need to liquefy crystallized emotional patterns, is it right? So when I speak about that, what I mean is that Capricorn moon, it makes your moon ruled by Saturn, which is conjunct your south node, right? So that's clue number 2. You see, Capricorn moon, see my cursor, is ruled by Saturn, conjunct the south node. So that's like makes me think of how past life conditioning has played into your current life, and you are. Oh my god. Wait, hold on 1 second. There's no way that you're. I need to recheck your birth time. But no, this is correct because you verified it. Holy shit, dude! I'm looking at your profile. I don't want to see any photos. I just want to see. I need to really see the birth time. It's funny you said September 12th to 14th works great. No rush now. The energy is intense end of July, and it's like I was watching this video earlier about how right in between the 10th of September, I think the 25th, I can send you the video if you're interested. Is like the most intense fucking energetic time. I don't know if he said of the year. It's just like a very, very like important time to kind of be one with your own energy, protect your own energy, not like start anything new. Obviously, with all the retrogrades. Okay, I'm still looking up your and going up our messages. Just there's no way. If you're born in 96, like damn, dude. Like you're so okay. So correct? Yes. Okay. So wow, that's crazy. So you're like my friend Trey, who's born in 95. So you're obviously an old soul, obviously. And but I think and yeah, and then of course, it's funny I just said Trey's name. You guys have he's a 29-degree Virgo, you're a 28-degree Virgo sun. See what I'm saying? Wow. But okay, back to kind of like the Capricorn moon. I want to kind of speak on the Virgo part because Virgo is so misunderstood. Basically, yeah. So in the 12th house, you'll be someone who is meant to really really go deep within their own or not their own unconscious, the collective unconscious, and your own unconscious. Having an 8th house sun, a big part of your life is about going inward. It's about shadow work, right? So being I think you think of yourself as a very earthy person, having your sun in Virgo, moon in Aquarius, or excuse me, in Capricorn, but you are definitely like having sun in the 8th and moon in the 12th makes you, it's like even if there's no, is there any water? Let's see. I don't think so. There's no water in your chart at all, which is very interesting to have like those water houses so like just emphasize but not have any water. That's crazy. Damn. But regardless, like you're like that's gonna make you feel like really, really in touch. So this is very interesting. I really want to speak to you about this. So make sure you make a note about this part because it's very important. Because I've never seen this, right? Um, how does someone become when they don't have planets and water signs? And I talk about planets, talking about the big six. I kind of throw Jupiter in there, but their two most important planets, Sun and Moon, are both in the 8th and the 12th. The two most of the watery and karmic and just like deep unconscious houses. It's very interesting. Um, so there could be like this like I don't want to say like inability to connect like emotionally. And I need to see like the aspects, like any Neptune. Yeah, you have Neptune trine Sun, Neptune trine Mercury. So that's not like full on, but like still like there like you could be you're definitely someone who's super 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 mega even. I'll use the word mega. I don't use that word a lot. Mega aware of kind of the collective unconscious and like what's going on within yourself, but then there might be some issues with the actual expression and the feeling. So you might have like this really like earthy ability to kind of like to understand it, and to see it, but then feeling it could be like something completely different, right? Like really feeling emotions. So that's like a big growth edge, in my readings. I really like to give people, I don't want to just like say this is what's going on, this is what's going on. Like I want people to like, like have different strategies they can take away that can help them. So yeah, definitely here. I think that's something that's very very interesting to me. And I'm very curious to hear more about how that plays out because Moon in the 12th house in Capricorn with Jupiter there. The Jupiter on your moon is so Cap moons can tend to be quite negative, quite pessimistic, right? They're the people who, especially like men in today's age, which I would take you out of that because you're a spiritual man. I'm talking about more like the masculine men, like don't be in touch with your feelings, blah blah. Now having that, with Jupiter is like when it's on your moon, it's like imagine like a mountaintop, right? Like I always think of it like it's like you're able to actually see and have perspective over your emotions, like as if you were looking over at them, over what am I trying to say? Like over at them, on top of a mountain. Um, so you can see a lot, which is obviously an outstanding thing. Now, also it's going to give you, even though like there can be a pessimism and depression, that like a lot of people with, and this is kind of the impetus why you're born in 96 and you're already like so ahead spiritually, is that your moon in the 12th house has always probably made you feel quite different. Where's your Chiron? Is it Gemini? No, Libra. It's always probably made you feel quite different, and I believe that probably pushed you towards this 8th house, death, rebirth, and transformation. So very interesting stuff. Another thing about Capricorn moons is that they are exactly the people who like people look at them, especially and you're an Aquarius rising, so yeah. But I'll talk about that a little bit. But they're the people that people look towards and think like, okay, like this person can handle their shit. Like they, like something bad happens. Like it's very hard for a lot of Capricorn moons to ask for help, right? And because it's ruled by Saturn, the Saturn return at 29.5 typically, is this massive time of just epic like growth and like really feeling like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. But with that said, I don't like people, like I tell this to people sometimes, and I also want to emphasize that it's not just like oh right, only when my Saturn return comes will I have this this ability. No, it's like it's free will. Astrology is okay. Heard enough. Is free will meets the chart. The chart is the hand you're dealt. You know, then there's your free will. So the work you do, you don't have to wait till the Saturn return. But you know that something, very karmic or very karmic things will happen, whether it's energetically or physically at the Saturn return period, that will shift you. And even if you are already very evolved, which you are, it will. We're as humans, we're evolved in different areas, right? So we might be very evolved spiritually, but then emotionally we might not be that evolved, right? So I think that like it's always so unexpected. Like it can be like a different individual coming into your life. It's very, very hard to predict. So that's huge. But yeah, overall, and in Placidus, this would be 11th house, the moon. So I'm sure you've had readings there, Placidus, that tell you like very, very different things than what I'm telling you right now. But regardless, it's still a cat moon. And you're really trying to undo a lot of karmic tendencies on the emotional level. That's kind of how I would put it. Now, and we'll get back to so what else can I say about that? Yeah, and like cat moons, like they have to like, especially with the 8th house sun, right? Because 8th house sun people, I don't care about what sign it's in, they go through these massive eras, right? I'm an 8th house sun, by the way. That's maybe why you were drawn to me. And they tend to have these like it's almost I said this wrong, but it actually makes more sense. I never said it like this. They have like different lifetimes within the lifetimes. It's like there's periods probably in your life where you look back on them and you're like, I can't even recognize that version of myself. I'm so different. I'm so transformed. I'm so I'm like it's just that whole surrender, right? That the 8th house and 12th house people have to accept that real ego surrender. And it's a beautiful thing, but it can be difficult because you can really outgrow it. Can make you really easily outgrow people, situations, places, and stuff. So I've noticed an interesting trend. I doubt many astrologers would say this, but it's just something I noticed from clients. I noticed a lot of 8th house people moving away from home, like people who have like very like heavy chart, like not heavy charts, but like who have that 8th house emphasized, because it's a house of Scorpio, right? And like for me, for example, like I have this, and like I could not connect with like so many people like I went to high school with, for example, like in Portland, Oregon, right? And that's not like why I've moved around. I moved around because I'm a Sag moon, and I mean I've always like liked Europe more than US, but like for someone else it could be very different. So yeah, that's maybe one thing. You might have like a lot of interest in like the occult, the esoteric, obviously, duh. But like just like even like death, it really makes it so like the gates, especially with that Jupiter in the 12th house, like the gates to your own unconscious, 8th house, and to the collective unconscious are just wide open for you. So what might freak a lot of people out, you have almost like this like flashlight, this like torch that you can go through these really dark areas in. Dark meaning, just like things that a lot of people are afraid of, whether it's, a lot of people are afraid of death. As an 8th house sun, I don't know if you ever read my book, but like the first chapter after I go into, I give my like crazy life story that you would never expect by how I am now, how close to death on many occasions I was, and how fucked up my life was, how fucked up I was. The first really important chapter is overcoming the fear of death, and how that was like just super life changing for me. So that's kind of how it is with lots of 8th house suns. So just keep that in mind, I guess. With that said, I've noticed a lot of people with the with a lot of earth energy in general, they tend to be very, and I'm sure this isn't new news, they can be very, very hard on themselves. So I always preach, the importance of especially as a Virgo, of meditation. I know you're into that, or I'm pretty sure you're into that, and just like really getting in tune with your just like kind of how you function internally in your self-talk, because Virgos with Capricorn moons can tend to be very hard on themselves. They can be over analytical of situations. Having your Mercury there too, which is in a very good. It's retrograde, so your Mercury's retrograde, so that adds further to the just like a very deep thinker, and it's not combust, so it's within 7 degrees, so you're lucky. If it was within 5 degrees, it would be combust, which would make you lack objectivity, which would weaken your Mercury, but your Mercury is not in combust; it's in a good position. So yeah, it's very important to kind of I always give the example of self-compassion, treating yourself how you would treat your best friend, right? Like if your best friend fucks up, you're not gonna just go super hard on them. And then the obvious thing about perfectionism, it's impossible to get 100. So just each day, if 30 is the best you can do one day, learning to not only accept, but love that about yourself, right? And that's such an important lesson for people who have a lot of earth. It's learning that they're because I've been talking to my therapist about this lately, how a lot of people, myself included, it was more about me, but I realized this is a general statement, and it applies to astrology with trines, like the trine between your sun, elemental trine between your sun and your moon. That we all have natural talents, right? We all have natural propensities, ways of being that let's say you're really, really talented in the area, but because it's so obvious to you, it almost becomes unconscious, and you almost can project that other people have that same level of competence that you do, and it's not the case. And I always tell my Virgo and Cat people that you are an achiever, you're an achiever, and a lot of the times people who have this they tend to downgrade themselves and think that other people, just because they appear, I forget what the study is called, or whatever it is, it's something Kruger, but it's basically showing how a lot of times the people who really know the most say the less, and the people who know the least say the most, kind of stuff, right? About different subjects. Donald Kruger, I don't know the name. It's an effect. It's like the something Kruger effect, and that probably wasn't a very good narration of it. But the point is that treating yourself really, really practicing that every day of your existence. Gratitude practices, but not gratitude just about gratitude about your life and the things and not, no, excuse me, not, I did not mean to say your life, about who you are, about yourself, That is mega important, right? To have that. And with that said, once that empathy is had, it makes relationships a whole lot easier, because you stop kind of projecting your own, like if you're like very like Virgo, like overly critical of yourself, and overthinking, when you're in a relationship, you might, with your partner, like kind of like a lot, expect too much, right? And then like a tiny thing that normally shouldn't, like kind of like be a big deal, becomes a big deal. So it's literally like with Virgo people, it's like getting past, like it's impossible for you to be perfect. And in learning is a tool, is a trick to embrace the times where you're imperfect. And just like, like I said, if the best you can do is you know like not that great for one day, just to accept that, to honor that within yourself, and that's just massive. Now, okay, so then the obvious part is the relationship between Virgo and Capricorn. I don't need to go into Virgo. You know about Virgo, I just like to always preach the perfectionist part. Having them both in Earth, but in water houses, you're definitely someone who can take the physical, right? Be very, very consistent as a human, but then you're so tapped into the unconscious. So I definitely see you as like someone who's really meant to be a healer, someone who's really meant to be a powerful person. Pluto's close to your midheaven. You're really meant to take your findings, right? Especially with Neptune in the 12th house, which is like an ultra spiritual placement, and it has some nice aspects, right? It trines, your Virgo, Sun and Mercury. That's like the best place to have Neptune, and adds even more of that kind of like, yeah, there's water lacking, but it definitely adds empathy and just like that real connection to like the imagination world and the dream world, and just it's very beneficial, I guess you could say, right? So yeah, it's an interesting 12th house, because Saturn does rule it, so it's ruled by, and Saturn rules is in your third house, so um I think that like communicating about these ideas that you have is super important. I think that that's super important for you to like be able to have channels, people, whoever it is that you can, communicate these ideas with, or through, or with, or whatever. But yeah, overall, like, having Earth Sun or Earth Moon, or just any two elements is very good, because it's like, if you're a ship, you're a ship that's steering in one direction, which obviously is a very positive thing. So back to my face for a little bit. So yeah, it's very, very interesting chart. I'm like, damn, like the lack of water mixed with the 12th and the 8th being emphasized. Yeah, so I think like your life work could literally be around and I cheated, not on purpose. I saw that, like, I tried not to look at anything. I saw that it said flutist, so I know that's the one thing I know. I avoided seeing what you look like. I do this for every reading I ever do. I try to make it just like only the data, only the birth data. But I need to like scroll up our chat, and then like kind of like, yeah. But so like having that is very, very good. And I think that a lot of your life purpose could be around taking like your dreams, your imagination, like all that, the esoteric part of life, and putting it into something very physical, right? With your midheaven in Sag, with Pluto there, you're definitely gonna have like a lot of like intense power. Although there might be like, Pluto in such a strong position, like it's in 11th house midheaven, so collaboration could be very, very important for you, especially with your North Node in Libra, right? Your North Node being so follow me on this. Like North Node's in Libra in the 9th house. So basically like collaboration has been difficult for you in past lives, right? Like working with others. But in your North Node in the 9th house, which is the house of Sagittarius. So really like your career and your North Node, your career / dharma is a better word, is really linked to your destiny, right? It's just like shown. So those two will be very, very intertwined. So what you do is on like a public level will be very, very much linked to like your highest potential growth, and Pluto there pushes that even further, right? Pluto Pluto, excuse me, on the midheaven people are people who are powerful people who can really, really create an extreme, like they can have an extremely powerful impact on their career or on the world, honestly, on the collective. So I think that like through whatever work you're doing, taking risks, right? Which is like as an Aquarius rising, that's very, very good because it really makes you not comfortable just being the norm, which, some people who have that Capricorn energy and that Virgo energy, they can be happy just being kind of the normal people that do whatever, but you having Uranus ruled chart, which Uranus is at 0 degrees. So that is speaking, it's in retrograde too. So it's like, speaking to like you entering like a new phase of your individuality in this lifetime, which totally goes with, what I've been saying about the karma overall so far. But going back to what I was saying before, the fact that it's in 11th house means that like you have to watch out for power struggles, like when you're like working with different groups. I'm gonna get a drink, not alcohol, don't worry. Actually, I don't know why it would matter, but 1 second. I'm still talking. I'm gonna finish this point before I go get it. It's literally like it's like 3 feet away from me, but whatever. Not 2 feet, 7 feet. Basically like, I think that a lot of your career in general is linked to working with people, very humanitarian, so that can show up in many different ways, right? But really, like with the Sagittarius midheaven, with the fact that that's your midheaven is ruled by Jupiter, which is conjunct your sun in the 12th. It's about bringing to the collective, like making the unconscious conscious, and really, really illuminating through your very pragmatic earthy kind of energy, being able to kind of like put what is in my friend Trey, who ironically has like the very close birthday to you. He has a really similar path too, where he's really meant to put the unexplainable into words. So, and Trey is a writer, so like it's really it's a big task. It's a very, very heavy karmic task. That's why I was saying you're an old soul with a very important message. I don't say this in every reading. You can go through all my readings on my YouTube, right? And you see it. I don't say this all the time. I'm not like that kind of astrologer. I keep it real. But yeah, the fact that your midheaven is ruled by Jupiter conjunct your sun is just furthering this whole thing. So I want to speak about service, right? Because 12th house, it's known as the house of karma. You may have developed some kind of like interesting, maybe even, let's see if there's any squares. Yeah, definitely some difficult karma that you've developed in past lives. I mean, you have the square of the moon, the nodes, the square of Mars, and of course, like Saturn is conjunct the south node. And yeah, so I think that like definitely like the Capricorn Moon thing is linked to repression and conditioning in past lives. I believe you were like, so, like in this life, it's like there's a big need to kind of be more to be more to be more of someone who compromises a little bit more, not totally, but like, who's able to make more compromises in relationships, and be diplomatic, and like more team oriented, I guess you could say. Like, not to say that you definitely, the 12th house sun may prefer being alone and working alone, but I definitely see that being very important for you, is like getting out of like your immediate environment, exploring the world, exploring different philosophies. And you've definitely already done that. Born in 96, I'm so blown away. You have such an old soul that I thought you'd be born. Excuse me, I'm drinking. I expect you to be born like 87 or 85 or something like that. And I have never like fully seen a photo of you. Just by the way, that's for every client. I was like making sure not to, like, when I was going through your profile, not to like I was like blurring my eyes to not, like, yeah. I was only there for like a second anyways. But yeah, so that's really, really important. With that aside, as I was saying, so you see how this is all starting to connect, right? Like, there's this big need to kind of like team up with people, find like-minded people, who can like kind of share, like, share philosophies, and have groups that are based off of that, and let those kind of guide, like be guiding lights to you in your kind of dharma. And yeah, like I think that like you're definitely there's definitely like a level of a power that you bring to any group you're part of. Now, I like to sometimes like bring it back to Placidus, like especially in charts like this where it's like so extreme, the difference. Because in Placidus you'd have a 9th house Pluto. And when I think about a 9th house Pluto, I think about like, okay, so like a lot of people who have that, they are people who have like who might not feel like a deep connection with like the country that they're living in. And they may feel more like, because they've incarnated, they've incarnated in so many other cultures, that they can kind of feel like an outsider. Like for example, like me, I don't have this, but it's like, for example, like I never really like felt so connected to like, like independent, the 4th of July, it's my brother's birthday. Like I just never like really like cared that much, like, I mean, maybe like the few years I was somewhat brainwashed, like in high school, which was only like maybe 3 years until I unbrainwashed myself. But yeah, that could be something too. And then of course, like I just want to like say like, you know, like whole sign and Placidus, it's like 2 different highways to get you the same place. So you'll see the accuracy of this reading, regardless. Because even if your south node is in like the 2nd house, right? Like it would speak further to kind of power, and your sun would be the 7th house, and your moon would be 11th house, but then you'd still have Uranus in the 12th and Neptune in the 12th. So either way it makes sense. And a lot of your Venus and Mars would shift to the 6th, like mine. But yeah, you'll see. But yeah, I think that, where was that? Yeah, just like with Pluto, right? Like so that's kind of how it can work out there. But in the 11th house, it speaks further to what I was telling you before about like the groups that you join being really, really important. And you can judge them as being like a good group for you based on the extent to which they, like, if a group like helps you like uncondition, is unconditioned the right word? Like get out of different conditioning, that's like a good group. But if it's a group that kind of keeps you stuck in a certain conditioning, it's a bad group. And it's very important to like choose widely, right? Widely. Nice, dude. Yeah, choose wisely. Like what groups should you allow yourself to be a part of, I guess you could say. And know that it's important for you to take risks in that regard too, because there can be some trauma there from past lives. But like also, like I said, there can be like kind of a intolerance that can come with that placement. Now with the South Node, right, squaring the Moon, that's like validating everything I was saying earlier about how like in past lives, like South Node right here, square the Moon, and it would be square Jupiter. Yeah, also square Jupiter. Why doesn't it show up? That's weird. No, it does. I'm just dumb. I'm not dumb. Bad self. No bad self-talk. Just it's actually so Mars. Okay, Mars is not. It has a positive aspect. So it's squaring Jupiter and Moon, not Mars. I read that incorrectly. But I think I didn't say anything about it. So to me, that speaks even further to what I was saying. So South Node square Mars, it's like a skip step around belief systems, right? So you lived, incarnation, I said incarnations, or like whether you're dealing with like I still don't know the answer. I admit when I don't know something. Like I do believe that we're talking about like whatever karma you've decided to take on in this lifetime, right? Not like every lifetime ever, but I'm not totally positive about that. But it's a very strong hunch that the chart would not reflect. Like, there's definitely some aspects of the chart that reflect like the soul level that doesn't change. But when it comes to like the nodes and stuff, like no, it's definitely like what you've decided to take on, right? Which in some cases can be like, the grand karma, the missing pieces, especially with clients I have who tend to be, old souls who are kind of, like trying to like get to that last part of illumination, of enlightenment, and move, to a different realm of incarnate, not on Earth, somewhere else. Now, so yeah, I think that like you grew up in a system that kind of made it so like definitely very, very powerful, privileged, and because of that, it made you it pushed your belief system away. So there's a skip step around you emotionally, and in terms of like acquiring like a righteous belief system. Does that make sense? Not that you can answer that question anyways, it's rhetorical, I guess. But so yeah, that's kind of the scenario I'm seeing. Like a possible scenario, right? Like just not of not like being able to have been challenged for different things because you're in this position. Maybe you're like a king, honestly, like Aries, or maybe you're just a very, very dominant individual that no one really wanted to kind of like mess with, or maybe you're in like a society or a system that kind of prohibited free thought in some way. Now on the emotional level, a lot of times Moon in the 12th house speaks to like a mother that was very strict in this current life. The Moon isn't always the mom, but typically it is. It's like the least dominant parent, the one who played the nurturing role. It did not meet all your needs, but as a cat Moon, a lot of times you will there can be a tendency to kind of push that away, and be more like yeah, I can handle this, I got this, so there's no problems, there's no problems, and really there is, right? Oh my god, I just drank tea, it was so hot, holy shit, I just burnt my mouth. Not that bad, I spat it out, but yeah, that's some cold water. But yeah, like with the squared like Moon, like there's definitely like that skip step, which goes back to what I was saying before about like the need to liquefy, crystallize emotional patterns. So how do you do that? Well, you have amazingly Neptune in 12th house. And you have this, it's really about it's about leaning into your emotions, thinking of them as energies, as I'm sure you're aware. Thinking of them as energies, that there can be a tendency, with the moon in Capricorn to not like a lot of people, like Capricorn moons can there can be lots of repression that happens, especially when young. So it's just like really, really leaning in and kind of forcing yourself to really feel the emotions, right? And that's like mega important. Once you start doing that, it can become a superpower. And the Capricorn moon need is to feel like what they're doing for society, there's honor to it, and that it's helping push things along, push the envelope, push life forward, right? So Capricorn moons can get very depressed. And trust me, I know my brother's a Capricorn moon. I know many. They can get very depressed when they feel like they're not doing that, right? When they feel like they're not like headed in that direction. For you, 12th house could be very, very linked to like humanitarianism and just like making the world a better place. And yeah. So also one other thing to watch out for is like I like to call it past life entitlement. Like with that placement, like where you just kind of like might come into this lifetime like thinking you like automatically deserve things, because of like being very like potentially privileged in past incarnations, especially if you're going with classes where it'd be in the second house. um Now I want to also say that like like with this access, this no access, one could look at it in a different way and be like, yeah, but what if you, the Saturn conjunction of the South Node, what if you were the one who's being like pushed down, and there's actually like someone who is like doing that to you. Well, usually I would imagine that would show up as like a opposition to the South Node, if it's like someone who's doing that to you. And then also you have to take everything in consideration, the fact that it's in Aries. Like if it was opposite and the South Node was in Libra, then I would probably think, okay, well, you were someone who was like like in like there's someone who's doing it to you. So yeah. And then with the squares, it just makes more sense. So yeah, deep need, like cat moons, like they miss something when it comes to really expressing and feeling their emotions in the full spectrum of them, and vulnerability and all that stuff. So it's very, very hard for cat moon, which is like kind of like my next proof, or just just like why I'm sure you're like an old soul or whatever. It sounds cheesy, but I don't know. It's just how it is. But yeah. And then Uranus, ruling your chart. So Aquarius rising, you really need to tell you about your rising sign. Obviously, you're ruled by Uranus. So you're someone who. One second. Hold on. One second. Hold on 1 second. I am sorry. Okay. Cool. Okay. Sorry about that. Just the answer text. This is pretty important for my mom. My Virgo mom. But trust me, I understand Virgos. So yeah, like the Aquarius part of you is definitely the part that makes you want to be different, makes you want to kind of beat of your own drum. I love Aquarius rising, so they just don't give a shit. They're like, I'm gonna do this my way. If you don't like it, well, sucks for you, you know? Like, it doesn't really matter to me because I am trying to be authentic, and that's it, pretty much. So I find it a very, very nice placement. Uranus at 0 degrees, like I said, like, so it's like, it speaks more of the whole conditioning thing, and you like entering a new era of, which is very interesting with like the fact that Pluto is going to be conjunct your Uranus. That's interesting. As it moves into Aquarius, because you know, in March, I guess it'd probably be like what, like not exactly in March, but yeah, it'd be zero, yeah, exact conjunction. So yeah, that could indicate like a real trigger point for you and for your real like just like life purpose and quest for individual, like even more individuality and everything like that, and getting past kind of different blocks. But yeah, so a new era in this lifetime of like individualism, and a deep need is an Aquarius rising to dive into you being your own person, which speaks perfectly to the Leo parts of your chart. Venus, Mars, and you get Black Moon, Lilith also, and Descendant. So I had them all in the 7th house in classes, they'd be in the 6th. But basically, like, having these planets in Leo, and I'll go back to my face for a little bit, why not? Is very interesting. And it does it oppose? Not quite. But basically, like, you know, I like to really speak about like love language, and give people kind of like the love download, I guess you could call it, the Jesse Love download. So I would say like having these two here with the moon in Capricorn, you know, like a big part of your life purpose is to develop new belief systems that are based on truth that you can then move into your career, right? Into your dharma, excuse me. Because I don't like to say career because it's not always career, like corporate job. It's like dharma, like your life purpose. And some people have like financial situations, like karmically set up, like you're an 8th house sun, right? So you could be someone who has like an inheritance or has some kind of like karmic financial situation, excuse me, that enables you to have more freedom because you've already conquered this. Is, and I don't know about this for sure, but a lot of times I see this, it's the case. The lessons associated with money, the karmic lessons associated with money, right? And it's almost like the cosmos being like, okay, we don't want you to like focus too much on that, even though it still matters, right? Now, with you know, moon so important, and North Node so important for love, and of course Venus and Mars, and Juno is in Aries. Well, first of all, Juno conjunct South Node. That means that you'll have very fated lovers. You know, who you decide to marry. If you get married, this isn't alcohol. Promise. I literally like can't drink alcohol anymore. Like I do it like each year. Like it goes down like only on, you know, 10 times a year. Then it's like 8 times a year. Like eventually I feel like I'm just like not gonna drink. Like I don't know, but whatever. Who knows? Anything can change. I could go back to drinking in social ways. Sorry. So, yeah. In essence, you know, like the Capricorn Moon person in relationships, you know, they have to watch out for like being too perfectionist. This also goes to your Virgo 8th house, which I haven't even talked that much about the 8th house part. Like, you're gonna need someone who's connected and also interested in hearing out your kind of complex nature and your very individualistic nature, right? They'll be very fated, the partners, you'll really like someone who can speak their mind, who can kind of come across in a very, very, very powerful, not demeaning, powerful way, and someone who has a lot of consistency. And with the Jupiter on the moon, you kind of have to factor that in, that you're not the typical cat moon. Someone who also has that open-mindedness, that perspective, and that ability to change, like course in terms of their thinking. Because you're not going to be like an everyday person, so that's important to have someone like that. But I will say, a lot of times when I see someone missing an element in their chart, they might be really attracted to someone who has. So for you, like you missing water, you might really like someone who has, like, some Pisces, some Cancer, some Scorpio. It might be very nice for you to have that. So and that totally goes along with like the whole 8th house, 12th house thing. Now, Venus and Mars in Leo, right, in the 7th house. So I love Venus in the 7th house. It's a beautiful placement. It's where Venus is happiest. And the reason is that it really gives you an ability to be very romantic, and to see like the beauty and the best parts of your partner, right? So definitely it's kind of like fiery in love, fiery desires. So this is another side of you where, like, the Capricorn Moon side and the Virgo side, like that part of you wants someone that's sure. You don't want to like you don't want someone that, like, yeah, they need to be exciting and this and that and the third, but they definitely need to have, and I don't know if you're in a relationship or not. I do compatibility readings as well if you're interested. Would definitely give you a massive discount for that if you're ever interested. But yeah, like, my God, my cat's just destroyed something downstairs, and just pray it's not expensive or something important. Yeah, so there's lots of spontaneity with these two. I also have my Venus and Mars together, like kind of how you do. Mine are in opposite sign Aquarius, yours are in Leo. So definitely like valuing like directness in a lover too, and like really, like, this is the part of you that like makes you fun and makes you like really involved with your inner child and that creativity. I know you play flute, man. One thing I know. Like, you really like to kind of like keep the flames of romance going in relationships, right? And it makes you like very adventurous and just like kind of forthright, and just kind of like to it's fire. So really valuing like the ability to like to have fun, is to be yourself, your goofy kind of inner child self. When you can let down like the kind of Virgo Capricorn guard, and have someone around you that you can do that with, right? So yeah. So yeah, there can also almost be like this like very like blunt but also innocent. It's like blunt but innocent approach to like love, which is so nice like with the rest of your chart. So yeah, like it can make one very direct. Although it can also be a little bit intimidating for more sensitive lovers, which would be, the water signs, right? But yeah, just like having both in the same sign, Mars and Venus, like that creates lots of charisma. There's lots of straightforwardness when it comes to like sex and love and like the needs. And it just makes it easier for you to feel satisfied and to really know what you want in a partnership, right? Because like you could have like Venus and Leo, Mars and like, I don't know, Scorpio, and then that's just like a square. It's very difficult, right? Um, what else can I say about this? Yeah, just like very, very let's see, is there any aspects? Nope. Pretty much, I mean, besides this, the sextile with Chiron, pretty much unaspected Venus. I would say that's an unaspected Venus, and you have a nice trine with Mars and Saturn. Nice. So This is the thing with an aspect of Venus. Sometimes they can make everything in their life too much about love, so you have to watch out for that. Some people have that. They can. Let me see if I feel this. I don't know if I feel this for you. Maybe in the past. I feel like because you're an 8th house sun, you've like matured so fast. Like there's different eras in your life where you look back on them where you feel like you were literally an actor. Like it wasn't even you, because I kind of hinted at that earlier. Like that's an 8th house sun person. They go death, rebirth, transformation. So when they're good at surrendering, especially being like a 12th house moon, they just go through these crazy. They can be like, I had a client the other day who was like, his were so intense that it was like physical. He's like, I'm literally unrecognizable, like from how I was 6 years ago. Like I weighed like 100 or I forget how many pounds he said more that he weighed. My cat brings me her toy and I have to throw it down the stairs. She plays fetch. All of them do it. I have dog cats. But yeah, so that's kind of the energy with that. With 8th house, just like someone who's going to be also going through this spiritual process, and doesn't have to be exactly like the same spirituality as you, but at least someone who's open-minded, someone who you can rely on and be very consistent, all that. Where's the vertex? So vertex in the 8th house, interesting. So it's there with with these other planets. What I find with people, and let me go back to the chart. And cats come back with a toy. So what I find a lot with like 8th house and charge. Oh, my computer's dying. Thank God I saw that. With I haven't switched it. 8th house vertex people, right? Is that they? Oh my God, go. No. Okay. No. Why did it disappear? So vertex is very interesting, right? People have different thoughts about it. And the way I see the vertex is in many different ways. Firstly, I see it as very based on fate. And I think of it as like your doorway to higher awareness. And then I think there's a huge relational component to it. So in your case, right, having it in the 8th house, it means that it's those really intense, dramatic experiences that kind of push you towards your highest self, right? So like the, if you want to call them the cat hair again. Oh, it's like stuck deep in my throat. Check. Yeah, how even get in there? Yeah, so the doorway to higher awareness will come through like very, very intense kind of like relationships and the whole death rebirth transformation. I mean, your son's there already. And having a Virgo, I think of the sign of the vertex as representing sort of like your how you appear in relationships. It's like a second ascendant, right? So yeah, like you'll appear very responsible. Maybe your love language is also like based on like the things you do and like what you're willing to sacrifice, this, that, and the fourth. So yeah. And your karmic, mates um will kind of create very powerful relationships. Like so like very, very intense, exciting. And that relationship or those relationships manifest like and create like powerful transformations in each of you. So yeah, it's like that intensity of that karmic person enters your life. There can be like occult subjects like sex, money, and death that are involved. And yeah, like it can also indicate someone who really yearns for like the deepest possible union, right? Um yeah. The deepest possible union. Two souls becoming one, which, you know, being an eighth house sun, that's a big part of you. So you have sun square moon, but I don't count it. I don't believe in like sun square moon when it's in different signs. Yeah, like if your sun was, you know, in Libra, then I would talk about it. But no, you're a Virgo, Libra cusp. So moon square Saturn, that can definitely, especially the Capricorn moon, you know, it goes further with what I was saying about like just the need to express vulnerability and emotions, and how you know, definitely maybe growing up you could have like experienced maybe still like periods of like despair and kind of like feeling very held back emotionally, and you know, literally melancholy. So there's like, once again, that's like the impetus, the karmic impetus to push you into that death rebirth transformation. Um, and then you have sun. So okay, wow, and there's a T square. You can see that. And so yeah, there's a T square with the sun, moon, and Saturn. Crazy. And there's also a grand trine with Saturn, Pluto, midheaven, and Mars. So Saturn, Pluto's midheaven, Mars. Damn. All in fire signs. I think that's just like a very, very, very strong energy. That you can pretty much like, it's just like a, I think of it of that as like a very, very like very good for self-starting, very good for just manifesting in general. Like anything that relates to career, I think it's very good for relationships. I think it's very good for communication. Um, you know, working with people like in tandem, and really having this like firepower of all these connections together. Because, you know, the Mars in the Saturn, that creates someone who can like start projects and be very, very responsible, like start them with that fiery Leo part, but then continue through um and see them and through the end. And with Pluto, that gives you the ability to like be someone who's like a deep researcher, whether it's like into the psyche of humanity or whatever it is. um like whenever you get into something, you get in deep, right? Like you just have this like this next level, I guess you could say, you know, where it's just like when you really want something, like you go after it and there's no stopping you, pretty much. So that's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. um yeah, with the T square, that's a more difficult one. And it involves, you know, your sun, your moon. Like even though I did say like I don't really want to talk much about like the square between sun and the moon, so I'm kind of contradicting myself. But in this case, with it being a T square, um, you know, like usually a sun and square relates like very at odds energy between like the solar and lunar part, your masculine and feminine side. I have this, but because they're both in earth signs and they're on cusps, it kind of diminishes it. But in an aspect pattern, I definitely would talk about it. Um, and basically, like with T squares, it's like a bow and arrow, so it shoots out, right? So Sun opposite Saturn and Moon square Saturn. Like you have a very Saturn ruled chart. So you probably, I give you a score of 10 out of 10 of like Saturn in your chart, and how the Saturn return is going to be absolutely life changing. I don't want you like to create any expectations, but just know that like it's going to be amazing by the time that like you're around my age, right? But it can also create like a very difficult choice, like it can create like because things can be very good, you've grown a lot, but then it's like, like I said, there's areas that you can be unconscious of, which I want to talk about too, is about like getting feedback from other people is very, very important for your chart. Like getting feedback from other people, like honest feedback, like, hey, like, this is kind of like what I feel like, is this based in reality, you know? And really like kind of getting like opening up, like whether it's one person or multiple, like getting really, really good at just like being vulnerable. Like I know we had that conversation, and it wasn't like a deep combo like after like that whole confusion thing, but you did kind of like, I sensed that you were like kind of hard on yourself, and I really like, I was like, I can read energy even from texting, and it's not an arrogant thing, it's just a talent I have. So I could tell you're like a really sweet dude, and that's why, I'm going above and beyond with this reading and what we're already at. And I guess I'm just, yeah, like, like I'm making sure that this reading is everything I can make it, even though I'm going through a pretty tough time right now. You couldn't hear my voice, but I am. And yeah, so being hard on yourself, like, and just like having like asking people and being like vulnerable, like being vulnerable is super important. And the best way to deal with 12th house planets is to be of service to, like, find ways you can be of service to humanity. And I think that's really what you're because you sense all the undercurrents, you sense all that's wrong with people, so you could be, yeah, I know you do human design. I try really hard not to, like I said, not to know about anything else, but like, you are someone who definitely like a very, very, very powerful healer, with karma linked to that. So very cool stuff there. um and even Chiron is conjunct the North Node, right? It's 9 degrees away, but Chiron, the wounded healer asteroid, is linked to your highest purpose and highest destiny in the ninth house. So really about like how you can potentially be like someone who's like a professional healer, or at least like a big part of your life is to heal yourself. And with the North Node in this, and I need to go back to that T square in a sec, but like North Node in Libra, I told you it's about compromise. The it's like the metaphoric mountain that hasn't been climbed in past lives. It's like the destiny point. But like it's really about like like being able to compromise in relationships. But so I think relationships are a huge place for you in this lifetime. Like romantic relationships, business part, like more romantic relationships, but like also like client, like this is a seventh house relationship, like very close BFF relationships. I know our seventh house. Um, also open enemies kind of is that. Client, astrologer, psychologist, client, those kind of client, professional, you know, um, client, professional relationships. Those are seventh house, like very close one-on-one. Um, so yeah, like learn, like being someone who can kind of heal and grow and learn a lot about the world, and enhance themselves philosophically is huge too. Um, and then doing this all in a very Aquarian way, where you're kind of not really giving a shit about what other people think about you, and yeah, you want to help society, yeah, this, that, and the third, but you're gonna be going through such intense death, rebirths, and transformations your whole life that like learning to surrender at an early age is the best way forward. And I feel like you've already done a lot of that. Um, and then yeah, there's the whole part I said before about like the inner child, but then you have Black Moon Lilith, right? Which is like kind of the darkness part of your chart, in the seventh house in Leo. So Black Moon Lilith is just a potential. So in the seventh house, definitely like if you're like in like an amazing relationship, like it's kind of like where people can be jealous of you. That's one other way that it shows up. So if you have like a perfect like relationship, or just like be careful how you share your romantic life on social media, um just because people can be jealous of it. And just like any kind of like, if like partnerships that you might have could kind of create a jealousy in people. But as a Venus Leo, you're going to be someone who's going to want to be very, very proud of your partner, and really, really want to move forward. Yeah, like I was gonna say like show off your partner, but that sounds a bit vain. It's more just like you really want to take great pride in your partner, which kind of goes with the Capricorn part too, because you don't want someone who's just like not you want to be proud of them, and you want them to be like doing their best, doing their best thing for them, going towards their mission, being aware of their mission. You really want to be proud of them. And the Mars and Leo also is like it's just very powerful for like assertiveness energy in general. So that's a very strong placement, right? And I think that it gives you, like, you're very relationship oriented, like it kind of pushes you. Don't worry, I haven't forgot about the T square. It pushes you towards relationships, right? No, the T square, the resolution part is awesome. Just such a good element throughout the whole chart. So yeah, you'll be very relationship oriented. You have to watch out for being too obsessed with relationships and putting too much of your self worth on whether you're in a relationship or how good your relationship is. The Leo part, the Black Moon Lilith, I think of that as like going back to relationships, kind of requiring too much attention within them, and just that being like a potential, like, negative, like when you're at your lowest vibe, right? Because remember, like, the Black Moon is just like it's not like a planet or a point. It's just like kind of like you at your lowest vibe. Like me the other night, I was in a low vibe, not low vibe, but I was like in a kind of triggered mood with the full moon, and like I had like messages I want to send to people, but like I literally just I knew I was in that mode, which mine's in Scorpio. So yeah, it's like very psychological, and it's conjunct Pluto. So I held back on it. And yours is conjunct Mars. That's what, and Venus. So it really plays out in your love life, but also you can be someone who can get very passionate and say things slash do things that are self-sabotaging, right? So, and like it can come out of pride, it can come out of some sort of like lower Leo energy, you know? So you have to like be aware of that and really, really, really like find that grounded earthiness in different situations where you might not be feeling your best or whatever, right? And also I always say, like, I not always, I said this the other day, and then I've said it a few times before, but like, like it feels very healing when I tell people this who have eighth house sons, that you are not like, if you like I have eighth house sun. I made fucking crazy mistakes. Like I said, I don't know if you've read my book, but if you have, like, um it's called Pisces Live Nine Lives. If you're interested, I'm sure you've seen me talk about it a little bit. But basically, like, you are not like you are not those mistakes. You are not like those events, right? And a lot of people who have this, who might not be in astrology, like, they may have had like huge fuck ups. Like, and I don't know if you even have. I definitely did. And it can be very easy to kind of like how do I say this? Like, to kind of like almost connect yourself to those in a way, like almost like look back on them and be like, oh fuck, and like have that Virgo side come out where you're just like get down on yourself about them. Like, that was all the things that happened were meant to make you become who you are today. So just remember that. Mercury, in retrograde, I haven't really gone into that. Like I said, your doorway to higher awareness is through, like, deep analysis, but like there's a limit, in being of service with the Virgo, but there is a limit to that, right? So Mercury retrograde natally right now is Mercury retrograde, so it's kind of synchronistic that you're getting you're getting your reading done in Mercury retrograde. It's almost like you planned it, you little genius. I don't know if you did. I think you maybe you did. Who knows? But yeah, people who have Mercury retrograde natally, they will feel more chill when it's Mercury retrograde than when it's not. I think it's like 15 or 20% of the population. I don't remember exactly. I don't think there's like exact stats on that. But Yeah, so that is important. And basically what it does, so karmically it means that you either undersaid or oversaid in past lives, right? And I like so like yeah, like you either didn't like speak when you didn't like kind of like let your voice out when you needed to, or you did too much. Now with the karma I'm getting from your chart, I would say that I don't know actually, because like with the Capricorns, like there could have been lots of repression, but then there's all that power energy. So maybe yeah, it was like saying the wrong things and kind of thinking the wrong things. So in this life, in the first part of your life, it makes someone like a very inward thinker, someone who might not really want to, um, who will be a lot more strategic with their thoughts. And the karmic like whole point of it is so they can um like have that early part of their life where they're way more analytical of kind of what they're saying and what they're putting out. And yeah, does that make sense? So it's like yeah, way more analytical of yourself and your message. And yeah, the whole point is because like, and also with Mercury retrograde, what's really interesting is that sometimes people like who have it natally will have people in their current lives. Like my brother, he has it, and they will see the karma of it is that they will see um someone like like he sees me, but like as a not as who they are, but as a past life version of themselves. It's really trippy. So I don't know if there's anyone in your life that happens to, but yeah, it literally it can create also like like a like not learning disability, but like just like it's not it has no like you're very fucking intelligent. But sometimes people who have that, they have like early wounds around their thought process because like they're just not made for like the educational system. They're maybe way more right brain, more artistic. So yeah, it's important to kind of like understand that your way of learning will be a lot different than the norm, and it's in Virgo. So like it's in dignity. You're a very very analytical person. You're really observant. You're great at kind of taking in information, and it's a very very strong indicator of intelligence to have Virgo, Mercury in Virgo or Mercury in Gemini. Able to really like take lots of data regardless of what it is, and kind of just like just analyze it. So but you really definitely have to look out for like overthinking, and that comes with age, right? That comes with age, the whole overthinking thing. But yeah, overall just rumination and just the whole Virgo thing of kind of going back and forth in your head. So that's why the grounding and the meditation can be so important. um Yeah. So overall, you're in and going back to the T square, as I said I would. Um, so the T square, the sun opposite Saturn. So your moon and your sun are both in a hard aspect to Saturn. So just feeling like restricted a lot, whether probably from both parents. Maybe they have a divorce, maybe they don't. It's hard to tell with this type of square. Um, but maybe feeling like I'm really misunderstood, and like maybe they were very strict, maybe like the mom or whoever represents the moon wasn't very present, and maybe there's really intense karma with the other one. But the resolution point, which interestingly enough is where the T square shoots off like an arrow, and it's here in the sixth house in Cancer. So how to resolve um this energy is sixth house Cancer. So what is sixth house Cancer? Cancer is the emotions. So getting in touch with the emotions. Sixth house is routine. So how these two combine? Well, I would say it's about like creating a daily or whateverly like routine of how you can like be in touch with your emotions and and also like it's speaking to like that whole Virgo kind of consistency, right? 6th house is Virgo, consistency that's needed, right? So that's another part of it, right? Like finding consistency in some type of routine that brings you closer to your emotions. So yeah. Ooh, and Antares is very close to your midheaven. It's not like stuck on it. Jupiter in 12th house, before I get into that, like, I already said that by itself, it's just very like I'll go back to my face for the rest of this reading, wrap it up. But okay, Jupiter in 12th house, I had this too. It's like very, very good for spiritual protection. Like I said, it's like the torchlight in the unconscious. Having in Capricorn makes one have lots of like integrity, traditional values a lot of the time. They want to have like professional status and recognition. It's very, very good for success. And yeah, like 12th house is like seeking the meaning of life from deep within. Also, like the fact that it's Jupiter conjunct any moon sign, God, it's a godsend to have it conjunct your Cap moon, because it's like in times of despair, you'll have this like well of optimism that you can kind of like dive into, or like this well of optimism within yourself in times of like despair. Like you can dig deep into this well of optimism, and it kind of makes you like kind of like have like a Sag Moony kind of vibe, your Cat moon. So that's really, really nice. Uranus in the first, that just gives kind of like it furthers like the Aquarius rising, just kind of eccentric personality, really want to express yourself in kind of a dynamic, just like different kind of way, breaking conventions, breaking conditioning. Yeah, very, very about being original. Saturn in the third house, by itself, that can speak to like exactly what I was saying earlier. Like, when you were younger, there could have been like lots of fear of communication, because in early childhood, because of the retrograde with your Mercury, you could have felt like, you weren't smart, or that your way of thinking was flawed. And yeah, just like your communication ability, like being restricted in early childhood. So like self-expression can be difficult, so it's all about learning to kind of like gradually build that up. It takes hard efforts, but it's totally worth it. And yeah, with the Black Moon Lilith, also just like watching out for like narcissistic tendencies, or like mostly in the realm of relationships, where you ask for too much, and like you like kind of like thinking that you're doing the giving, and not getting, but when really it's not actually like that. So having like an objective view of that. And a lot of times like that placement can come from like a fear of just like feeling unworthy, feeling unwanted, not fitting in. 1 second. So my tea. And yeah, there can be also like a fear of change. So, and this is like, the 8th house, Virgo is an earth sign that's mutable, so it can change. Black Moon Lilith, the Leo's the ego, right? So the position achieved can be so important, whether it's career, whatever it is, relationship, that you can tie your own ego and self-esteem to it. So integration from that comes from understanding that change is growth. Maybe you can't always be the leader, but like learning to accept that and to bring other people up, that will actually be good for you and make you feel really great about yourself. Okay, we did that. Yeah, Chiron in Chiron in Libra, like you can feel lots of pain through imbalances in relationships. So that's like speaking more about like really, really wanting to have relationships that are balanced. Like there's like the extreme of Aries, which is like or extreme of Libra, which is like extreme codependency. I can't do anything without my partner. I'm nothing without a partner. But then in Aries, where it's like opposite. Like I don't want, like if you even have a partner, like we spend no time together, we don't do shit together, like completely independent, like no connections, no commitments, not making any sacrifices, nothing, right? So it's finding the middle ground where you can still express your own Aquarian individuality and growth in a relationship with someone who's going to give you space and all that stuff, but also who's going to, be very consistent and be very, very fun and be engaged in that kind of inner child. Okay, so yeah, we've really spoken on pretty much everything. I mean, I guess Neptune in 12th, what else can I say? Some people have Neptune in 12th. It's the best place you can have Neptune. Some people can feel a little bit overwhelmed by like the undercurrents of the world. So you have to watch out for like escapist tendencies. And yeah, it makes one just super compassionate, in touch with the collective unconscious, with the zeitgeist, all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, so let's pull up some stars and asteroids. And okay. So how close? So Antares, one of the 4 row stars, is close to your midheaven. That's very, 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 very interesting. It's within 18 plus 27, so 4.45, so less than a degree. So Antares, it's just like a very militant but also very powerful energy, right? So it would indicate that in the realm of career, that you have like a lot of potential for success, a lot of potential to be also to have like very like good fortune and in honor, basically, right? But also like to feel like your life is always full of this like struggle between like the dark and the light, right? And there can also be like this proneness to like obsession, and being driven to deal with issues of injustice. Like, so that's important. But yeah, it's really like when you have Antares or Regulus like on your, like I have it rising, it's just great for money. It's great for honor in your profession. And it's a very militant one. So it can also give great mental alertness, like this real strategic ability, like almost like you're like a chess player with your life, right? And also like a very like courageous daredevil energy. So it's a very, very strong one. Okay. Urania, it's like 4 degrees from your ascendant, but I mean, it's that's like literally the asteroid of astrologers. 4 degrees is a little bit far, but I guess for asteroids it's not, it's kind of a little bit different than stars. So yeah, like astrology could be something that you really benefit a lot from. I know you do human design, so it probably fits in the same category. Cat hair. Let's see here. Oh, part of fortune I forgot to talk about is in Gemini in the 5th. So you speaking your truth, you creating, you being kind of a social butterfly, who's kind of able to kind of go with the flow in life, and meet lots of different people from different cultural backgrounds. Like just communicating in general brings you lots of joy, and it's kind of like your flow state when you're able to do it with like no holdbacks, like the Saturn. Because remember, the Saturn is really it can really repress one and really push one back. So when you're able to find creative outlets that can kind of push you towards that, that letting go, like the creativity equals joy for you, right? So yeah, it's all about like developing that and and leaning into that Leo part, the Leo Mars and Aries. And maybe you even are the person who like does like creative things with your partner. That's huge. I always speak like I don't know necessarily if someone's in a relationship. I just speak like kind of like they do. Psyche on the descendant. I don't even know what that would do. To be honest, I just don't know. Um, I'm not even gonna try to give like a. Let's see if I can find anything about it, but like I don't know what the hell that would do. Psyche on the descendant, because the descendant is the other person. But it's like, let's see if I find anything. Okay, nothing there. So I guess it's about soul depth, soul depth. In certain situations, it can create like lots of attraction and youthfulness. So yeah, you definitely like having like a certain like your partner's having like a really really deep depth with their soul. Still looking. No, nothing here. Yeah, there's nothing. Maybe here. So yeah, it says here, it can detail for you where you can find your entrance into yourself. It also represents psychology and is involved with the discipline of the study of the mind. So I like that part of like where you can find your entrance into yourself. So you can definitely find like so much of your chart is like very relationship based, and you can find so much like from like your relationships. Okay, now you have the nebula. Ooh, nice. Exact conjunction with your Mercury. So that's like one of those like truth seeking, like very magical fixed stars, right? And it's like literally like exact conjunction, 0.05 separation. So that is, one of the ones I was like studying my Babylonian astrology. I need to look at something. I was yeah, like I made a post where I was like, what the three fixed stars, if you have them conjunct like personal planets that are like making like astrologers or truth seekers or people like that, and the nebula is one of them. You have it exactly on your Mercury, which is your mind. So your mind is like always kind of like digging towards like the deeper mysteries of life and stuff of that nature, which is really cool stuff. Okay, I was gonna look for something in this thing. Hold on. Okay, I remember. So your sun is exactly conjunct asteroid. I'm not big into asteroids. I mean, obviously some of them, yes, but like, my friend, she's really into them, and I swear she had a post about the asteroid Karma, and you have it exactly on your sun. Okay, here it is. Let's see if she has anything about. So yeah, like where? So yeah, so it's just about It's very like So the planet asteroid is sitting very close to your karma. It plays a part in how you're meant to experience the reaping of your karmic fruits, and or plays a part in releasing any past life karma present in this life. So yeah, I think it's just like where you experience lots of karma. So it's like in your conjunct your sun, 8th house. So karma here means sex, the occult world, death, alchemizing pain, the power and karmic experiences / relationships may play a part in how you're meant to experience the reaping of your karmic fruits. Your relationship with your shadow self and deep healing is a major factor, releasing any past life karma present in this life. So yeah, interesting stuff. And I would just take it a step further and just say that, like, your life is very much ruled, is separated by 0.02. So just like, it's just like, your life is very much like fulfilling like the highest energy of Virgo, which I think of it as like earth magic, is like purity, but not perfectionism. And a lot of Virgos can be like some of the spiritual people, especially at like 28 degrees. Like me and you, we have exact opposite suns. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that doesn't sound good, but it is really, really good. I told you my best friend is like born, which is weird because he's born on the 23rd and he's still somehow fucking Virgo. He's on the last, like, he's 29.59. If he was born 5 minutes later, he would be a Libra. He basically is Libra. Yeah, I'm 28 degrees Pisces, you're 28 degrees Virgo. So it's like, we complement each other. There's definitely like an ease. So then, okay, what's this? Nothing. And then, most importantly, also Sirius conjunct, the midheaven. So that just makes you like the nurturer within your group of friends. And like you'll want friends who like, or loved ones who provide you with a sense of adventure and freedom. And you'll really feel cared for when you're allowed to have like lots of space to explore and reach your goals. And that can apply to career. Now, and yeah, I don't see any other of these. Let's go to my other list. Am I at the 2-hour mark? I guarantee you I am. Close. Let's see if there's any from my other list, any other things going on. And then Destin is conjunct your Mars. So you see how like you have these asteroids like Karma, Destin, like conjunct planets. Like there's so much fate in your chart. Like I don't even have to look up like a lot of these asteroids, they have names for reasons. And I don't really go deep into them because like for me it's like, I'm just telling you that, I don't have direct experience with Destin. I've never ever worked with it. But it's like right on Uranus or your Mars, excuse me. So, that could speak to like lots of destiny. Like I said before, with your South Node and Juno together, in your love life and stuff like that. Okay, moving forward. Let's see, last turn around, nothing. Yeah. So that is essentially it. Any questions you might have, let me know in the follow-up. We can schedule that as soon as you're ready. Just send me a message. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I went as hard as I possibly could. And I hope it finds you well. Hope you're doing well. And TTYL. Talk to you later, my friend. Talk to you soon. All right. Ciao.